Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. How are you guys? Back with another day in the life. Today I thought I'd start off. I felt a little under the weather. And so usually I pray Fajr and I stay up and I have my regular schedule. But today I prayed, went back to bed for a little bit. It's about 7 a.m. now and I'm still going to do my schedule. Son's drawing he left for me. He's doing some decor. But going to show you kind of like, even though I don't feel good, I still get a bit done. I have an entire morning routine where I'm going to show you every single thing I do in my morning routine in the next video for the morning with my Quran and my journaling in depth. But for now, this morning, I thought I'd just show you how I'm starting my day. And if you stay till the end of the video, I even have so many different things. I have updates on my bedroom makeover. I have so many places we went today in this video. It's kind of like my family and I going many places and kind of like my weekend routine. So in this part of the morning, I am just reviewing the Quran, the small surahs, and I have Ibn Kathir, Tafsir Ibn Kathir next to me for the small things, because in order for it to be meaningful, I really have to make sure I get the depth of all of the tafsir. And so just going over that and sipping my peppermint tea there, just because, like I said, I felt a bit under the weather. And as it's getting cooler here in the US, just kind of that warm cup of goodness in the morning, it makes you just feel like a warm hug. And so just reading some of the Quran and the tafsir here. And then I go on to the Ideal Muslimah. A lot of you were in our recent book club, and if you don't know about it, we have free book clubs all the time. The next one coming up is in February, so I had my notes, I was reviewing my notes. We had just actually finished this book club, like I said, so the next one in February is coming up. But I had really enjoyed some of the notes I had with the sisters and their comments, and so always at the end of the book clubs, I love to just review everything and reflect on it. And so I was just taking a moment to do that with this book this morning. For those of you who don't know this book, it's a really great book, and it goes through all the different parts of the life of the Muslimah, for herself and her Rabb, herself and her husband, her kids. And so every week we kind of just went from chapter to chapter. It was so good. So at this point, I know I don't have that much more time for the kids wake up. I'm just going to basically blow out the candle and go and get my day started, which is pretty much me moving into my kitchen. Now, on any normal day, I would have had my water and I would have gone into making celery juice. But honestly, on this day, I just needed some coffee. It wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to break out my juicing machine. So here I am with my espresso. Many of you guys have asked me about this machine. It's just really basic. It's a famous one. I have to look up the brand. Maybe I'll link it below. But honestly, it does the job, and it gets me from not spending tons of money all the time outside. And I honestly feel like you can make a really mean cup of coffee with this. And I use organic whole milk or 2%, just keeping it as like pure and clean as possible. And I don't know, I just love the whole frothing of the milk. It just changes everything. And this is just my moment to myself in the morning. Is it bad that I love that sound? I don't know. So I didn't do anything special here. Don't look for like fancy barista style when, you don't feel so amazing. You're not going to go into all that. But the cinnamon, it was something that definitely hit the spot either way. So good. So I know I said I felt a bit like when I woke up in the morning, but I do want to say I'm going to be honest, no matter how I feel, I generally push through it. And what I'll do is I will mindfully know how far I can push myself. So there's certain things I know in my mind, if I don't get them done, they're just going to cause me anxiety. For example, every morning I want to wake up and make sure my counters are completely wiped, because I know during the day that's going to make me feel like, oh, I got to go do that. It's going to bother me in the back of my mind because I'm going to feel like everything I touch is sticky or this or that. I mean, generally I'll do it at night. But there are the times, like I said, where you're a mom, you're busy. You're lucky if you could take a shower. You're lucky if you could even brush your own hair. So, the things that are like not like life or death, I just like counter wiping. Like sometimes I'll leave it for the morning. I know some people are neurotic with that stuff, but for me it's like quality of life. So if I could spend more time with my kids or something, I'll just do it at a time when it's quieter. So for example, before I start my day, I'm wiping all the cabinets, I'm wiping down the counters. And because of this, on Saturdays and Sundays I typically don't have a lot to do. This is a daily routine, especially when you have a white kitchen like this. I think a lot of people underestimate how many little grimy little fingers and hands touch everything. Even just one day, there's like drips and everything everywhere. So literally, if I don't wipe once a day anyway, it'll just become overwhelming. So I just do that. And then the same thing with the oven here, the stovetop. And I think before I showed you guys, I had some chemicals in my bottle, but like typically, if you see this bottle right here I have, it's just vinegar and water. Typically, that is actually really good. And for people who don't like, oh, I don't like the vinegar smell. Okay, it's a very light amount because it's diluted. And then what happens is as soon as it dries, you don't really smell it. But I would say I've bought all types of cleaners, clean cleaners and like not so clean. When I mean like that, I mean like as far as health wise. And literally, it cleans so good, better than things you would spend $7 a bottle on. So love it, love it. I just make sure I wipe down the counters, and then here I'm just going to empty the dishwasher. And that's because, again, I've pinpointed things that kind of cause me stress. And it's just like, oh, having the sink filled up. So if I know during the day I'm going to be putting things in the sink, if I have the dishwasher empty or just generally, I take everything out, I put them away, and then I put them back in, it makes me feel better. Same thing with the stove. I'm going to be touching it all day. And these are things I've pinpointed for myself really make me feel good, having everything wiped before my kids come, feeling like, oh, I'm ready to receive them. And the days I don't do this, I feel a total difference. How about you? Does that ever happen when you feel like everything's all over and your head just doesn't feel clear? It makes me feel clear-headed. And so even if I just took 10 minutes probably to do this whole process, it just feels good. And it makes me mentally feel less stressed. So as I put away the last couple of things, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to show you really shortly kind of how I get the kids' breakfast ready. We're going to make a couple of trips to some stores today and drop off my older daughter. You'll see all that in a sec. But yeah, this just really mentally primes me. And here it is, all done, finally, alhamdulillah. So I said, let me just run and get a little clip that I had to do for my podcast done before the kids come down. If you're a mom, hashtag mom life, having complete silence to record a podcast when you have as many children as I do, not very doable. So definitely wanted to get that in. So I was on the couch, kind of just cozying up, and we're recording whatever I had to do. And it might sound over the top, but I have notes for every single podcast. I plan, I research, I reflect. And so I feel like every woman who comes to listen to the podcast, and shout out to every sister who does listen to the Mindful Muslimah Speaks podcast. If you're going to take 15 minutes out of your day, I'm going to make sure I have something really good planned. So after that, I quickly just put something together. It takes maybe not even 7 minutes for my kids, called kabun. It's like a cornbread that you put in the oven. It's traditional for my husband's country. And so here I am just kind of greasing the pan. I put everything in. I put the black seed. I put the egg wash. And I put them in the wrong order, but that's okay. I set up the plates here for the kids. They really, really love the little teacups I have. And so just making it a little bit special, I realized that literally plating for them gets them excited. So they have these little teacups for shahi or chai or tea, however you call it in your country. To keep it balanced, I put these apple slices. I'm going to put a couple berries, and honestly, it will leave them maybe just a couple hours. It'll get us halfway through homeschool just on this, and I'll give them a snack and lunch after, but they literally love it. So this is the finished product with the bread and the fruit and the tea. My son came down just in time as I plated. And we kind of enjoyed together a little bit before my other one came down.
The bread is like a little bitter, so then the tea balances it all.
So at this point, while the kids are finishing up breakfast, I wanted to make bukhor. When you make bukhor, it just makes everything feel good. So I had these coals. I used to buy them one by one by the shops, like for $1.50 US each. And then I found this box of like, I don't know what it was, like 20 something. I don't know, but it's ridiculously cheap for like $9 or $10. So I'm here just kind of trying to open the box and put it on the fire. You just heat it up really quick, and then you add the bukhor from different countries that I have. And, I've tried to use those like liquid ones or those, electric ones, but I just honestly love this. I love the smell it gives off, and I have so many amazing bukhor from Yemen. When we went to Ethiopia, this is one particularly from Yemen. I have so many different kinds. A beautiful one I got when I was in Ethiopia. So just love it, love it. So I just put the coal down and I put the beautiful bukhor on, and it just starts making this beautiful, beautiful scent. I wish You guys could smell it right now. It just changes the mood. So even though I woke up feeling a little like, it's just gonna, and my son loves it. He's always like, please, please burn bkhor. So we do that usually, not every day, but maybe like 4 or 5 times a week, especially right before my husband comes home. A lot of you guys ask me. Now don't ask me where you could buy this stuff on Amazon or anything. People bring it to me from overseas. But the coals you could obviously get. But love the way it just sets the mood for the day. Now, I typically don't homeschool on the weekend at all, but my son had a little bit of extra bit of his essay he had to write, and so he gets jealous if he has to do it and my daughter doesn't. So I read a book with her, and there's this really great book called I Like Myself, and it just teaches girls to obviously just love who they are.
That she has a pink nose, and then she has these.
Oh my god.
And then she has spiky things.
Oh my god. We just went over the book and just like, I like when I'm like this. I love this about myself. I love my hair. I love my nose. And just gets them used to seeing other children who just love to feel good about themselves. So she just finished our breakfast while we read the book, and he finished his essay over on the other side of the room. And we kind of really were getting into the message of no matter who talks to me, they cannot change the way I feel about myself. And I think that's really important for girls when they're younger to get used to and kind of put in their head.
The Koenigsegg Pagani costs $12 million US. This connects to the technology and opening side doors, and the spoiler and the sleek body kits, and amazing designs. That is why it costs so much. Not only that, it has a lot of horsepower. This is important because it is used for races and car shows, and it amazes people's eyes.
Oh, very nice.
So this is the
I can't see.
This is the producer.
Mm-hmm.
The cool plankton and all these foods from the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And these
That's a baby shrimp?
Yeah. These consumers, primary consumers, come eat it. Then these secondary consumers eat it. The jellyfish and this cool animal come eat it. They come eat it. Then the tertiary consumers tertiary, they come here and eat it all up. Then this apex predator, which means it's at the top of the food chain in the sea, which means no one can eat it, comes eat it here. So after that, we drove to take my older daughter to work, and I just love towards the end of the fall how like all the colors are there. I just, with the canopy of trees, it's so nice. But yeah, for the sake of privacy, I'm obviously not going to show her, but took her to work. But on the way, I stopped at my favorite Italian spot. This is a store I go to get all my specialty products. When you go in here, I go straight to the desserts. They have amazing. If you've ever seen me make soooo on the Instagram, link, you'll see it's like little flaky pastry. So good. They have cannoli filling. They have everything. No need to go to a bakery ever again. Fresh out of the oven. So delicious. The other reason I came here was because I was missing the espresso beans that I used this morning. I totally ran out of them. I usually use Lavazza. There's a cream or crema or something like this. And this other one, this other company, it's totally not Lavazza, but I couldn't find it, and I was desperately trying to ask like a better brand, and I really couldn't decide. So I went back and forth with the store clerk about it, and in the end I got the blue bag, and so we'll see how it goes. I haven't opened it yet. When it comes to food in our family, we take everything pretty serious. So that was my Italian spot. That's authentic. We have an authentic spot for every cultural food. We just got to Trader Joe's. I go here probably once a week or once every other week to get healthy stuff. I find it's the cheapest stuff. I have gone to every store and probably find out. I go to Whole Foods. I go to, all different types of small, like mom and pop stuff. Find it's the best for like overall stuff. So get the majority of our health stuff there. That's why you see the labels in my house. Not sponsored. But I'll just show you some of the things that we pick up. I'm going to do an actual haul of everything healthy that we use off the internet and like mindful, healthful choices that are still delicious. I'll have that in December, inshallah. But just showing you now kind of as pop it in, doing some grocery runs, and we'll be back, inshallah, in the house. Forget some of the filming, guys, because some of it I didn't realize my camera was turned the wrong way, but I was just trying to show you what I was purchasing. That way you could see what we generally get from there. We try to get all organic. There are options there, but not sometimes they're just not reasonable. They're really expensive. But for the berries and stuff, we try to get organic. This time they were not so good a price, or they didn't look that healthy, so I didn't get them. But typically we do that, and we just get tons of veg there for way cheaper than if we went to like an organic small store.
This smelled so good. If you know the name of it, tell me below. I want to buy more.
These bags are so hot. They're so really yellow. That means they're right. Let's get.
I asked them to help me fix cereal, and they took it a bit too far. They were really excited, so you're gonna watch them like try to pile cereal all into the cart.
You can't get two of the same one. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
So I just want to show you a couple more things that we buy. They have so many organic cereals to choose from, so definitely go there. They have a ton of cheeses. Again, really good quality for the price. If you go to like Whole Foods or something, it's way more expensive, so we definitely try to get these types of things here if we're gonna have a party, or we just generally are trying to make a particular recipe. But other than that, we don't really go crazy with that. So during the week when kids have homeschool and I'm doing Mindful Muslim and everything, it's really hard, so I get maybe like 3 or 4 items that I could just quickly pop in the oven if I can't make something from scratch. So I get these veggie burgers, or I get like pizza. All of them are either cauliflower crust or gluten-free, or like this one's made with butternut squash instead of fatty with cheese. I get toasted coconut granola. They're so good with yogurt. My son eats it with Greek yogurt with honey. And there was this contest or something. They always love to help, and they were talking to the guy about winning the contest, and they gave them lollipops because they found cocoa in the aisles, if you guys know who that is. Packed up the car, and they were back to go home and to cook some dinner and do some homeschool planning. Like, the weekend is my time to get it all together, so that's what we're doing. So many of you guys know that I homeschool, so this is the part of the week, usually like the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, where I do all my homeschool planning for my kids. I have all the books out, I lay everything out, I have everything thought out. I do plan a month in advance, but I have to still review and put things into slots where they go at the end of the week for the following week. And we have done public schools, private schools. We have in the podcast reviewed kind of why we have chosen what we've chosen with the kids. And just after years of doing this and being a licensed educator of 20 years, being an admin, overseeing schools and principals and things like that in my own past career, just shows that this is best for us. We love it, and we love the great conversations that we have with the kids. So I'm just finishing up my planning, and then we're going to go on to dinner.
A lot of my other video, you guys want to see me making tagine, so I'm doing a simple vegetable tagine today. This is nothing special. This is like just very simple. And so any vegetables you can use. I'm going to go get the tagine here. I'm going to put some onions down with some oil and let that cook. Then I will put the seasoning. I'm going to use ras al hanout, which is a Moroccan spice. But this is one I just got from the store in the Moroccan neighborhood. But I actually have some of this from when I went to Morocco, actually on my own. And we'll put it in here. It will to one pot, so I'll put it here with the spices and the oil and the everything, and I'll put some water and just let it steam. I will cover it with this, and that will be it. It's so easy. I want to show you what you need to put under here to protect the fire. So just showing you guys how this works. This is a diffuser. You have to have one of these in order to put this under the tagine, or it will burn. You can buy these for like $5 on Amazon. Really easy. I buy them in the Moroccan store. They overcharge. They probably charge you like $12. They're probably like $2 in Morocco, not even. And then I put that in here. I'm going to start to cut up the vegetables and put them in here. Cut up the onion and put them in here. Just make sure it's level when you put it on. That's what I'm checking. And in the meantime, we are playing Mancala, and it is my turn. This one. This is a halal game. It's just to put the beans from side to side. It's a game from Ethiopia. We traveled to Ethiopia, and so while they're doing that, I will finish dinner.
So this is going to keep steaming on, but in case you're curious, there it is. Now we're off to make some other things. Now, I know many of you are in our classes or courses that we give, and so one of the things that I talked about before were the 5 love languages. And even if you were here on YouTube, you might have seen my video on that. Now, I was never a huge bread maker, but
When I found out it was one of my husband's love languages after prodding, it became really important to me too. And so I do it for sabilillah and for his sake. And then eventually I just liked it. And so here what you're going to see is I'm making a bread to go with the tagine. And basically I make breads regularly in the week. I have all kinds of techniques that I do that for Ramadan, make ahead stuff. Follow us in Ramadan for that. I'm not going to go into that now, but what I want to say is that in many breads across the world, what I've learned from just making things, for the past decades, and then with my friends and my family, so many breads across the world are very, very similar. So they'll make the bread, ajina, the dough super thin, and then all of a sudden, you have to put this butter or this ghee or this semna in between. Some countries, they will sprinkle semolina between the layers to separate them. Some will put flour, some will put nothing. And then in the end, they might roll them up like this, like the same way they might do like paratha or something like so many countries, they do it very, very similar. Now, many do it in the air with their hands, but I know in Morocco in particular, they do this technique on the stone, and that's what I kind of got used to. And so I kind of do them all this way now, whatever country it is anyway, but super love this. The only thing working against me today was that I was in an extremely cold piece of like stone on the counter. There was next to a cold window. If you're making bread, these are not, this is like a recipe for disaster basically. Nothing can rise or rest the proper way with the good room temperature. So that was working against me. I take this dough and I tuck it under. And then what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to get super soft and I can push it down, but because of the temperature in the room, it just took forever. And when you don't feel good on a certain day, just like it had to be today. So anyway, if it was a different way, I would have pushed this down a bit more, but it just took so much more time. I didn't film everything. Bread making is quite the process. So this was kind of just going on in the background while I was making dinner. Eventually I flattened it out, I put some more semna on it, and then it was ready to go on the tawa. And I really love this big tawa that I'm about to show you. I got it I didn't get it on Amazon. I'm going to say I got it from a camping type store. I had to look for an 18-inch one because all of them are way too small and they couldn't have like rims on the end. I know they use this in many other countries like that where they have like desi cooking. So I wanted you to see that I use this regularly on the stove top. Then I'm going to be having something called a tanur in another video I'll show you. My husband just went to Michigan and got me one. Very excited because it's where you like stick the bread on the wall. It's going to be really, really nice. So this is something we're going to quickly make. I have this basket. The basket underneath is actually from Yemen. I talked about it once in my other video. The thing on top is from Ethiopia, and the idea is that it will make it not get sweaty and it will just make it stay crispy and delicious until you're ready to eat it. And so here we are just making up a couple of these. Then I quickly put it inside and I cover it up with the other piece. Some people also use like a tea cloth or hijab, but yeah, this works out really good. So we have our setup here, and these are some of the layers of the bread. So on this particular day, I was trying out a recipe that I had never before done. I've done this type of potato layering with croutons with like milk and cheese and everything, and it's normal, but this particular one I didn't. It had some burnt onions. It looked really, really good online, so I thought I'd try it out. Pro tip, if you're ever going to introduce something new to your family, don't make it be the only thing they eat. So if it's like one particular big dinner, always have other stuff on the side that's more familiar. So for example, I have the tagine, I have the bread, I'm going to have some mahshi. My kids love those things, but I'm also having this, hoping to see if they like it and if I can introduce it. So I introduce things one at a time. So here we are introducing this to the family to see if they will like it. So I put it together. There was like so many layers and layers upon layers. So I realized at the end, I did not take a picture of the final one. We ended up just eating it. So I'm going to attach a picture here so you can see, but I'm basically putting on just layers and layers of cheese. It's very decadent. There's no like health value here, I think, other than the fact that I used good quality ingredients. There's some parm. I think that's mostly like a mix of like Gruyere and mozzarella. And so it's generally like this. You cover it up, you bake it, and then I will show you the final product here in the picture. And again, this isn't my pick. This is just the one I was going off of because I never took one. And at this point, I did not take too much film, guys. This is mahshi. It is an Egyptian recipe. Some people like their mahshi very thin. Some people like it thicker. I like it a bit thicker. I'm not into the thin. And if you want to know what it's like inside, it's kind of like rice with tomato and all different types of herbs and so forth. And they are delicious. Just want to show you, I don't have a ton of pictures, but this is a blueberry goat cheese and basil pie. I know it sounds crazy, but it's delicious. It's really easy to put together. And once I make it, it's actually gone the same day. And inside the layer
layers. There's just such a depth of flavor, and it's sweet, and outside is like crispy and buttery, and we have it with vanilla ice cream and some whipped cream. And here's that souffle that I got from the Italian bakery. Just wanted to show you.
Last thing I thought I would show you today is I'm working on decorating the room. And one thing I do to not overwhelm myself, like I mentioned in a previous video, is to do things one little bit at a time. So my husband and I, one weekend, we did the wallpaper. I'll show you. And when we did the wallpaper, I told you I was going to put up, so like we did that one weekend. Left it alone. Then I went, my daughter convinced me to buy gold themed stuff, which I'm not really into. I'm not a gold girl. I'm not into flashy things at all. But she said, Mom, any other color is not going to work. One of my teenage daughters. I said, all right, I'm going to go with it. Whatever. So I got something today I want to show you.
So are these like yellows and blues and pinks that are in the wallpaper. And so my daughter suggested me that I should get a gold. I was going through gold, I was going tan, I was going so many things, and nothing actually looked right. So here it actually is, and it looks so bright to me. And when I put it against the wall in the room, it does not look this bright. So don't get scared by it.
So this literally is it.
The idea that my daughter had told me is that the gold around it will pick up in the back, and then everything else will be like more calm tones like grays and creams and other things, and supposedly this will be like a little bit of a centerpiece. We shall see. When here's the wallpaper right here, you could see, and the gold in it is what we're trying to pick up. And I'm going to show you that this is the bureau. I'm totally going to paint it the blue that's in the wallpaper there. And then we're going to change out the knobs for like a brass or gold. It's going to be pretty dramatic with cream, and you'll see.
So that's it for my day in the life. There is so much more to probably show you. I'm doing so much organizing right now. As December's coming in, I'm going to be doing a lot of rearranging, organizing, routines, morning routine, evening routines, how to break bad habits, so much. Been doing all that. We have so many, I've gotten so many of your applications, I know, for internships with us, for jobs with us. Looking through all that, been doing tons of interviews, hiring people for 2022. Definitely send yours in. I think we only have probably internships left, but inshallah business ala, love it. And so I will catch you guys in the next video, where hopefully I have an update on my stuff. Over here, my little, and then I'm going to do my son's room next. I didn't get a chance to show you my daughter's. Maybe in the next video I'm going to show you my daughter's room. That way you can see what we did, a before and after for her room. I think you might like. And we did it pretty cheap. I'm not into spending a lot of money, but I do is I get like inspiration from a particular magazine that's really nice, because I don't know, sometimes those ideas I don't have them on my own, but I want to do something nice but cheaper, and then I just do it myself and I piece it together everywhere. So this one I'm really struggling with my first project. I'm truly struggling. Usually I already know exactly what I'm going to do. We'll see how it goes here with this gold. I'm not sure. I can always change it. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but I have some other pieces coming through I ordered for during like the sales that happen. And so I have some vases and different flowers, and I'm going to paint that. It's going to be dramatic when I paint that. It's going to go from white to blue. It will be dramatic. So I'll like give you guys a peek in the next video or two. All right. See you. Assalamu alaikum.